The Battle of the Little Bighorn, also known as Custer's Last Stand, was a significant conflict between the combined forces of the Lakota Sioux, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho tribes and the 7th Cavalry Regiment of the United States Army. The battle took place on June 25 to 26, 1876, near the Little Bighorn River in Montana Territory, during a period of escalating tensions between the U.S. government and Native American tribes. In the 1870s, the discovery of gold in the Black Hills, sacred land to the Sioux, prompted a wave of miners to flood the region, despite a treaty granting the land to the Sioux. The U.S. government tried to negotiate the sale of the Black Hills, but the Sioux, led by leaders like Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse, refused. Instead, the government ordered all Lakota to move to reservations, but many resisted. This led to a military campaign to force them onto reservations, which culminated in the Battle of the Little Bighorn. On one side were the warriors from several Native American tribes who had gathered for the annual Sun Dance ceremony. Led by chiefs including Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, and Gall, the native forces were well prepared and motivated to defend their land and way of life. On the other side was the 7th Cavalry, led by Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer, known for his aggressive tactics but often criticized for his risk-taking and underestimation of native forces. Custer divided his forces into 3 detachments, hoping to trap the native forces and achieve a swift victory. However, he underestimated the strength and numbers of the native warriors. Custer's column, isolated from the rest of his forces, encountered fierce resistance as they advanced along the Little Bighorn River. The native warriors, bolstered by the presence of thousands of women, children, and elders, fought with unparalleled ferocity. Custer and his soldiers were soon surrounded, and the battle turned into a desperate fight for survival. Overwhelmed and outnumbered, Custer and all 210 of his men were killed, marking one of the most devastating defeats for the U.S. Army in the Indian Wars. News of Custer's defeat shocked the American public and fueled calls for retribution against Native American tribes. In response, the U.S. military intensified its campaign, leading to the eventual surrender of many native leaders and the confinement of tribes to reservations. While the Battle of the Little Bighorn was a significant native victory, it ultimately marked the beginning of the end for the traditional way of life of the Plains tribes. The Battle of the Little Bighorn is remembered for its dramatic and tragic outcome, symbolizing the clash between 2 ways of life and the consequences of westward expansion. For Native Americans, it represents a proud and heroic stand against overwhelming odds, while for Americans of European descent, it has come to symbolize the perils of imperial overreach and the complexity of U.S. frontier history. Today, the battlefield is preserved as a national monument, serving as a somber reminder of the struggles and sacrifices of those who fought on both sides.